I remember staring at my bank balance one night, waiting for my salary to hit, and feeling this sinking pit in my stomach. It wasn't poverty. I had a decent job. But the minute money came in, it flew right back out. Rent, car loan, credit cards, eating out, that one impulse Amazon purchase. By the end of the month, I'd be counting pennies like a student. Except I wasn't a student anymore. I was a grown adult stuck in financial kindergarten. So, what really causes that cycle? It's not laziness. It's not stupidity. It's actually psychology. Researchers call it income consumption bias. The tendency for your expenses to rise in lockstep with your earnings. You get a raise, you upgrade your lifestyle. You don't feel richer, you just feel busier, stressed, and still broke. And the craziest part? Your brain rewards this with a little dopamine hit every time you spend, but punishes you with anxiety when you try to save. That's why breaking the cycle feels impossible. But here's the twist. It's not about forcing yourself to spend less. It's about hacking that psychology. I discovered this when I stopped budgeting the traditional way. Most people track expenses, feel guilty, then give up. Instead, I flipped it. I decided my savings was my first bill. The moment my paycheck arrived, I auto-routed 20% into a separate account I couldn't touch. That account wasn't a safety net. It was my future freedom fund. Suddenly, saving felt like paying myself first. And here's the wild part. When I framed it that way, the guilt shifted. I felt guilty not saving, instead of guilty about spending. That mental trick rewired my behavior. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Have you ever noticed how people treat their employer's money more carefully than their own? We'll spend hours tracking work budgets, but never sit down with our own finances. I realized the mistake wasn't lack of discipline, it was lack of systems. Once I set up rules that operated automatically, I didn't need willpower. And that's the hidden truth. Financial freedom is not about being strong-willed. It's about being system-driven. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds nice, but emergencies happen. What if my car breaks down? What if I lose my job? Exactly. That's the next trap. Most people's emergency fund is their credit card. But credit is not security. It's a leash. The average household individual pays over $1,000 a year just in credit card interest. Imagine burning $100 bills every month and not even feeling warmer. I made that mistake for years. The shift came when I built a 3-month buffer, even if it started with just $200. Here's the secret. Your brain relaxes once you have even a tiny cushion. That peace stops panic spending and allows your long-term habits to stick. And then came the hardest part, identity. See, money isn't just numbers, it's culture, pride, and even shame. Where I grew up, showing success meant spending on visible things, a nicer car, new clothes, lavish dinners. But here's what no one tells you. True wealth is invisible. The millionaire next door is usually driving a Honda, not a BMW. That blew my mind. I realized I was signaling wealth instead of building it. Once I broke that need to look rich, I actually started to become rich. But let me tease the most powerful shift, the one I almost missed. When I stopped chasing more hours for more pay, and instead invested in skills that made me valuable, my income doubled without me working twice as hard. That's the difference between labor income and leverage income. And here's where it gets exciting. When you combine higher income with controlled lifestyle costs and automated saving, you don't just escape paycheck to paycheck, you sprint toward financial independence. So how do you finally stop living paycheck to paycheck? You stop seeing money as something to survive on, and start seeing it as a tool to buy freedom. You flip the script. You trick your brain to reward saving. You build invisible security instead of flashy signals. You let systems, not stress, guide your finances. And you invest in yourself so your earning power grows faster than your spending temptations. The transformation is real. Imagine not dreading the end of the month. Imagine opportunities coming up. Travel, investment, even just a dinner out, and you saying yes without guilt. Imagine money no longer being a chain, but a key. That's not a dream. That's what happens when you stop living for the paycheck and start building for your freedom. And if I could break that cycle, trust me, you can too.